Okay, I'm going to start us off. Hi, guys. I'm excited to chat with you and see some of you very soon in Cabo. So tonight, um, Tabitha, Emily, and myself are just going to kind of go over what we have going on this month and some tips for, utilizing what we already have in place to really get you those best numbers possible in quarter four. We have holiday coming up, we have Black Friday, we have some new product launches. So there's a lot of good stuff. And as you know, if you've been part of this industry for any length of time, quarter four is usually the biggest time, the biggest paychecks. And I know we all want to kind of maximize that as we go into Christmas. So I want to start off and I'm just going to go over all of the promos we have because we have a lot. And when I post them on the first, it can be very overwhelming. I get it. I get overwhelmed. So the first thing I want to kind of touch on is the savings we have. So all new PCs are saving an extra 10%. So obviously they already get the 20%. They're going to get an extra 10%, 30% off, and it's stackable with friend share. So they get another $10 off. So that's huge, huge shape savings. I was talking to Tabitha about this yesterday, Sunday. I posted a story about saving 30% and I got two new PCs instantly. And then some of my other customers, my current customers, were like, well, how do I get it? And I mean, honestly, I love saving money too. Just tell them to use a new email. Okay, guys? It's going to help you out. The next thing we have is double your bonus for enrolling new advocates. This is a huge way to really boost your paycheck. So if you enroll somebody with the 299 kit, you're going to get $180. That's crazy, right? If you enroll somebody with the 499 kit, you're going to make how much? 300 bucks. Like that's insane. So imagine enrolling two people with that big kit. I mean, you've just covered like half your kid's Christmas right there. Sorry, my phone went off. Um, but not only that, not only the cash, but like if you're really striving to build a business that brings in residual income, building a team is the way you want to do it. We get paid very generously for team building within this company. And I think some of this has gotten kind of lost in translation. We're like, oh, I got to get this new PC and this new PC and sell and sell. But really, as an industry and direct sales, building a team is how you create that residual income. So if you haven't built or you're kind of just in a rut and you don't know where to begin, start by making a new list. A new list of people that you want to contact that are like, okay, this girl aligns with me. I want to work with her. She's funny. She is connected. Make a list and start reaching out that way. Um, the third thing I want to touch on is hitting 1500 by the 15th. We're going to get that all those samples that we can hand out. You can give them, I like to give them as free gifts during the holidays for some of your best customers. You can hand them out as samples. You can put them in your purse at like the baseball game and hand them out. I do that a lot. But if you reach 1500 by October 15th, you're going to get the Mind Bloom samples, full spectrum jellies, reduced pain cream samples, and a mystery swag item. Okay. And then next is Green Compass is calling this the Customer Appreciation Month. And I think this is really brilliant because it's going to tie into holiday and maybe whatever, I don't know, whatever's coming for Black Friday sale or whatever. So anybody that purchases now between January is going to accumulate product credit points. And I have this all written out on the Green Team page. But if they spend 500 between 500 and 750, they get a $50 product credit and just keeps stacking up. So that's a great way for them to try new products come January. Just get some products for free and really reward some of our really great customers. And then lastly, this kind of got lost, but there's our new product, Her Reels Challenge. So you can, it doesn't have to be too serious. It can be something fun. You can just share your testimonial. You can share how you're using it, how a family member's using it. But it's a real challenge, and they have some really cool prizes up for grabs. There's like the Oura Ring, bunch of swag, some other cool stuff. But check it out if you haven't. It's on my page. I'm sure it's on Tabitha's page. It's on the Green Compass page. Tons of resources for you guys. Um, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit before I pass it over to Tabitha because we were kind of racking our brain a little bit as far as, you know, what did we do when we started and what are we doing now that's different that we're getting those different results? We're not pulling in as many recruits, we're not getting as many customers. And all of us, all three of us, Emily, Tabitha, and myself, we're not doing the basics anymore, the simple things. I know, and I'm speaking for myself, I really overcomplicate it far too often. I think I have to create the best reel and I have to be on top of my stories. And that's not it. That is not how I built my business. In fact, I didn't post on social media for 2.5 months when I joined. So I had hit almost 1 star before I ever mentioned Green Compass on social media. I had less than 2,000 followers. So none of that is relevant. You don't need a big following to have success, but you do need to have consistent conversations with people. And that is the number one thing that I did in my business and still do every single day to grow. I consistently work my business. And, it looks different every day. It also looks really different when you first start than when you're like 4, 5, almost 6 years in. So I reach out to new people every single day. Even almost 6 years in, I still have not touched everybody in my network. I follow up with people every single day. I'm expanding my network somehow. If I meet a new mom at the ball field, you best believe I'm going to friend request her because I want her to see what I'm doing and I want to keep that connection going. And lastly, and this is what I think Tabitha's going to touch on this too. I was doing three-way calls 2, 3, 4 a day when I started. I mean, I didn't know. And this is really good for you to tell anybody that you're talking to when they first join because they're probably scared. They don't know how to talk about the products. They don't have the language to talk about the business. This is probably brand new. Maybe they've never even tried CBD before. And when people are confused, they freeze. They don't do anything. So as an upline, let them use you. I was jumping on three-way calls with Emily, Beal, and Michael every single day. They took over the reins and I sat back and listened until I felt comfortable enough to be like, okay, I got this. I can talk about it with confidence. So I really urge you guys that if you're like in a rut, you're new, or you're just kind of, you don't have that confidence, use your uplines for a three-way call. It really, really, really does work. That validation is key. And I still, Emily Ritzer wrote it in the chat, but I remember her three-way call. Morgan Hooper is her upline, and she got me on a call, and that was it. She joined, and look where she is now. Um, so I think that's my personal opinion of just, yeah, she asked me if it was a pyramid scheme, and I was like, no, it's not a pyramid scheme. But those are my recommendations that if you're, we all go through ruts. Business is a roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down. You're not always going to be on the top of the world. Find somebody to vent to and have that person be like, come on, girl, you're better than this. You can do it. Okay. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to pass it over to Tabitha and I can't wait to see some of you in Cabo.
All right, awesome. Yes, I just typed in the chat that it's a long game, and I think sometimes we forget that. And it's like you have to, just to piggyback off what Ali said, you have to think about like, I want to be here in a year, and what do I want my business to look like in a year? Because if we break things down consistently, and this is what I always share, and I'm going to say it really quickly, and then I'm going to dive into what I was actually going to share. But like, if we take a goal and if we take a goal that we want this month, like maybe this month you're like, all right, dryness lined in the sand. I'm tired of my own BS. Like I'm ready to stop with excuses or whatever it is that you want to do. Then you take the goal and you reverse engineer and you think about how, and you can ask your upline this, you can ask me, even if I'm not your upline, I will help you how can I break this up so that I can make this achievable to reach the goal that I want at the end of the month, right? Versus like with your daily activities. So, because if we just think about a big goal, then it's like it seems big. But if we break it into these daily consistent activities, then the goal really comes pretty easy because we're showing up. Okay, so I want to share just briefly about in the beginning, we were all talking about this, thinking about this, like what we could share about in the beginning. And the reason we're talking about in the beginning and what it looked like for us because we have new advocates. We have advocates who are diving back in. Maybe we have advocates who feel like they really never got started. And so in the beginning, I worked a lot. Like I wrote on my notes, I was over consistent. And really it was because it was so easy for me to share it because I had never been a part of anything like this before. I had never, when I saw this, when I heard, Meredith's story, when I talked to Allie and Emily Beal, Emily Ritzer and Emily Beal and Michael, like I felt something different for that piece. And then the fact that, and I know many of you feel that way because you've said it before that it just feels different here, but the other piece was just like the product itself, right? I knew it didn't take very long before I realized that this was something really unique and special and different and something that people needed. And today, like, I still have that same mentality. But in the beginning, I jumped on countless Zooms. I had events. I went live often. I did three-way chats all the time until I felt comfortable. And I actually had experience with sales and direct sales and network marketing, but I didn't know about CBD really. So I felt a little bit unprepared or ill prepared. And I'm going to talk about that in a second too. But just shared the truth with people. I shared Why Green Compass and I was loud. And honestly, here's the secret sauce. I think that I was so confident in my mission, in this mission, and it wasn't because it wasn't because I knew all about CBD and I was so educated in cannabinoids and all these things. No, that wasn't it at all. I just knew that people needed this, and I knew all I needed to know to share this and be loud and get other people on board here and help and transfer that excitement and energy so that they could feel what I was feeling. And you guys, that's exactly what you got. You all have that same. I mean, if you're here on this call, obviously you are. You have that vision and you have that connection with this company and what we're doing here. So that's literally all you need um, to do that too, and to get to where, wherever it is that you want to go. And to this day, I feel like this is the opportunity that I align with, and I'm excited for Emily to share in a second because she's going to share some things that really make this opportunity relevant in today and with this industry. And I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again, but I believe that we aren't here to do mediocre things. I think that we're here to do so much more, something so much bigger beyond just any other company out there. And I think that we should run with that, plus paired with consistent action, like all of that. And I'm going to talk about one more thing that I think Emily and Allie and I were talking today. And it's funny because I got a text message from this guy that I don't know, I bought into his course years ago, and I still get text messages from him, and I'll share with you what he said. But people right now, they need to have trust in you. Things have shifted in where people are spending their money and how they're spending it. Really, in the last, this text message I got said the last 90 days. I don't know. I think it's a little longer than that. But, if you think about scrolling on your store, on the things, the platforms, Instagram and Facebook, when you think about scrolling, like for instance, I follow all these accounts like Holistic Health and like these people who have the C word. Okay. And if I ever get the C word, I don't know why I'm saying C word, like I'm going to be flagged. If I ever get cancer, I'm going to save these reels because these are the things that I'm going to implement into my health if I ever get cancer. Okay. I save this stuff all the time. I save things that people are doing that I don't even have the capacity to do right now. I'm not even going to do it, but I'm going to save it for later, right? But I'm being thrown so many things that I don't know what I would do. because I have so many thoughts and things that I saved and people that I follow, right? So how is someone following you going to trust you enough or going to buy what you're selling or what you're sharing? And that's something really to think about because I think that we have gotten into this influencer culture where, yes, information overload. Yes, exactly. And they're consuming. I always think about social media as like consuming. People just sit on there and they consume all day and then they don't know which way to go. But I lost my train of thought. So when you think about that, when you think about looking at people's stuff, what do you need from them for you to jump, to pull the trigger on something to purchase? And that's what you need to think about because for me, I've shared, and this is the only way I came into network marketing only knowing and learning that if I wanted people to join me, that relationships were the backbone of a business, and I still believe that today. They're the glue to this business. And it's not that I want to create a relationship with people so that they'll buy from me. That's not it. But I know that if I want people to trust me, then I have to show up every day authentically, me and sharing, because that's what's going to get people to feel something. And I think that this day and age, people need to feel something. They need to feel drawn to you, connected to you. Now, maybe that's your story. Maybe it's, because we want to feel connected as a team, right? Like I want to feel connected. I mean, I was connected to Emily and Allie. That really drew me in. If I wasn't connected to them, I probably would have been like, I don't know, right? But not only did I see all the other things, but I felt connected to them. And in the same way that you guys did, maybe with your upline, probably, or with our teams, hopefully. But with our customers, we want to feel that same connection and we want to put things out there. So, a few things, just thoughts is, you know, some of these like what I started to say is an influencer world I think that we're living in to where it's like you post and they post and they link it and boom. And people have bought often from that way. I don't think people are buying that way anymore. I think that people again need to feel something and that comes from us and that could be education on our products. That could be our favorite product, why we use it every day, why it works, what it's done for us. It could be our story in how we, where we started and now how we are, or what this product has solved for us, what this business has solved for us. Like there's just so many things. Like I always think about what perspective do I want to shift in my audience's view today? Like what perspective could I shift for them? And that could be a huge, but things like that, asking yourself, it's not sharing all the things and working 24/7. It's like, okay, I'm gonna drop one thing today, and here's the nugget that I want people to know. And how can I tie my product or my opportunity in with maybe my story and a piece of my heart? Because you can never go wrong when you share your heart and show up in that way. So go live, share voice clips, speak your story and your heart. Um, People need to feel something. And an idea for this, let me just really quickly share what this guy, Brody is his name, what he shared today. And I was like, it's funny because Emily had sent me something and I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good point because I do think people are shifting. I've been saying that for a while, like people are shifting where they spend their money. And Emily's going to share that in a second, a little bit more about that. But this is what he says. He says, social media has completely changed in the last 90 days. The way people buy has shifted. We are in a trust recession. So we must adapt to this. People are waiting longer to buy plus purchase things because they are getting flooded with 5 to 10 second reels with multiple different problems, solutions, and products. Okay. Now, I don't want to say this to overwhelm you like, oh no, this is a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because we're getting back to the basics of why we like this is a people business and getting with people and connecting with people is important. So he says, this is what I'm focusing on to adapt. We are entering an era where people want to get a free resource from you before they buy. And Emily Ritzer's good at this, and I think Allie has some too. So dial, and this is just an idea, you don't have to get overwhelmed with this, but dial in 3 to 5 really good, valuable resources, and you will absolutely dominate. This is what the 1% are doing. And so that's a whole other thing. And I, again, I don't want you to get overwhelmed with that, but just the idea of a free resource, and that could come later. We need to be building relationships, showing up consistently, and doing business like activities and our track, following like some sort of a plan before we necessarily do a free resource. But that right there is just another example of giving trust, people feeling trust from you because you're giving them something, you're giving them value, um, without them having to buy anything, right? And that's what people really want. And this can take time too, you guys. So like if you show up today and you show up for the next 30 days and you're putting yourself out there and you're sharing and you're connecting with people, this can take time too before people are ready. We know this. Like it can take 90 days for someone or longer for someone to actually feel like, okay, now's the time, right? But guess what? When the time comes, you're gonna be the one that they go to and that they trust. So that's all I wanted to share. I'm going to pass it to Emily Ritzer. Hopefully, she can hop on really quickly.
Yes, I'm in the dark.
Okay.
So you guys can listen. Can you hear me okay? Okay, awesome. So also, if you were around 2 months ago, I made that hormones guide. You guys are all welcome to use that. You should have a link for that. If not, I can share it again. But since we have a product for hormones, that might be a good freebie that you don't have to create. Okay, so I was just going to share kind of to get you guys back in the mindset of the beginning. What the kinds of things we were sharing are still relevant today. Um, so the CBD industry is projected to be 20 billion by the end of this year. I've seen all kinds of wild numbers as high as like 48 billion. I don't know what the exact number, people are just guessing, but it's still in the process of exploding. And sorry, it's dark. I'm putting my kids to bed right now. That's what's going on here. Um, so CBD, let me think. Oh, CBD sales were 108 million in 2014. So this would have been shortly before everything was legal in all states. It's now 1.9 billion, or no, sorry, it was 1.9 billion in 2022. Okay, so just to give you some ideas of the growth, and feel free to write these numbers down. 10.5% of Americans currently use CBD, which is kind of a high number, but it's also a low number. You know what I mean? Like there's like so many more people out there who haven't tried it yet. Okay. Like I would imagine in 20 years that number would be closer to like 60 to 70%, but like I don't know. Um, and then I don't care really like who you voted for or who what you stand for politically, but our president recently posted a video advocating for Medicare coverage for CBD for seniors, and he's calling it a game changer for pain, sleep, stress, and aging health. Um, and what happened was after he posted this video, cannabis stock just skyrocketed. Okay. So the president says this and people start making moves. Okay. Now, maybe you don't like him, and in spite of him, you're going to be like, well, I'm not going to use CBD. But let's be real, probably not because it's the best. And if you do support him, you're like, oh, maybe I should look into this. Okay. So people, either way, it's something that is on people's minds. Okay. The video also claimed that by adding CBD into our senior health care, it could save 64 billion annually in US healthcare costs. It's just like what a lot of us do right now to be proactive with our health. A lot of us are buying like organic groceries or trying to shop Whole Foods, less processed, less seed oils, all those things, because we know in the long term it's going to save us money, because we're not going to be sick, right? It's the same thing with CBD. Like it's keeping people healthy. It's keeping these chronic issues at bay so people don't have to go to the doctor and get on all these medications that are going to cause more side effects and more health issues, and they're on a hamster wheel. People are getting off the hamster wheel. Um, and CBD, despite this video that Trump posted, is still not regulated. And I actually posted this on my stories today, and I realized when I wrote this down that I said it backwards. only 30 to 40% of CBD products that are tested are actually true to the label still today. So that means like 60 to 70% of the products on the market today, what is on the label doesn't match when they're tested. Okay. And a lot of these companies are actually not even testing, I will say, especially at a dispensary. You walk in there, they don't know. I was at a dispensary the other day and I was asking them, they grow their own cannabis. I asked them if it was tested. She was like, well, we don't use any pesticides on anything. I'm like, well, can you go find out? I would like to know. So she went to go find out. Oh, we do use pesticides, but we wash them off really good. I was like, okay, are they tested? Can I see the lab report? She's like, no, we don't test it. People just go in blindly trusting this. Like, that's not something I'd ever touch with like a 10-foot pole because I know that the hemp plant has absorbed it. It's inside of it. So it doesn't matter how good you wash it off. These people don't know this, you guys. People are walking into dispensaries and these people don't know these things that we know. Okay. So just kind of getting back to the basics that people are more and more open, but many people are still very hesitant. They're very scared and they're very confused. They're not comfortable going to a dispensary. They don't know, do I need 2,000 milligrams or 500? Like they have no clue. So you can be that person, that trusted resource for them. So start anytime you get a question, like I got a couple questions this week. Somebody was hesitant about CBD. And then I had another question from somebody about the business. And she said, well, I don't have a big following. So she's letting that get into her head. And I'm like, okay, things to talk about. When I started this, I had 400 followers on Instagram. I actually didn't even use my Instagram page for Green Compass for like a year. I think I just used the stories. So people don't know these things unless you talk. Because if you do have a following, like let's say you have 4,000 followers on Instagram, people see that and they don't see that when you started, you only had a couple hundred. But this is like years of me posting consistently. So start writing down some of those questions you get and start answering them in your stories. Go live, do a talking head reel or a talking head story so that people can see your face and hear your voice and relate to you. And then another interesting thing in the news, just a second, my kiddos. Starbucks is closing 100 stores, coffee shops. I think I saw here in Colorado, just in Fort Collins alone, two in Fort Collins. And that's because people are not buying coffee right now. It's overpriced. People are like, I can just make it at home. And they're cutting back. They're finally realizing that, okay, the economy is not great. I'm gonna cut these fringe things that I don't really need. But what's interesting too is that the wellness industry globally, hi, Sissy. It is in a minute. Oh, okay. You're so cute. Is I'm on a call right now, Max. Max. Yeah. So the wellness industry is 7.2.
Max, get out. Being extremely rude. Get out of here, please.
All right. I may have to let you guys go because my kids, but 7.2 trillion globally, 8.5% annual growth rate, and 40% of people consider wellness a top priority. So people are cutting back on the things that feel extra, but that are not adding to their overall wellness, their health and wellness. Okay. So like they might be keeping like things like gym memberships, supplement subscriptions, different things that they know are helping them, but they're going to be cutting in other areas. So I'm going to let you guys go because I got to get these guys to bed. But anyways, Tabitha, feel free to like elaborate on anything I said.
Okay, thanks, Emily. Emily and I did a live last week and we shared that information and I just felt and I shared it on my stories the other day because I just think that sometimes we think that like with the economy the way that it is, people are holding on to their money and they're not spending it. So like that could affect our business, right? Like people aren't going to spend their money with me because the economy and blah 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 and like we could create this story, but the fact that I mean, it really does show multiple things show that people are investing in their health and people are looking for solutions. And we have this gap. And she had mentioned like the Gen Z, like Gen Z for sure, like a lot of them. And I know like if you look at Gen Z, whatever, like it's some of them are 13. Like what's the age from like, because I shared this one time and people were like, yeah, because half of them are 13. And I'm like, yeah, like one end is 13, but the rest are old enough to drink. And they're not choosing alcohol, you know? And so it's just interesting to see things are shifting and people are prioritizing their health like you guys mentioned in the comments. So go ahead, Allie.
Yeah, so I was just going to piggyback on that. And we're kind of in like this perfect storm, I would say, because people are being more careful on where they spend their money, but they're not purchasing products that are going to help them feel better, live better, take care of themselves. That's always been the case. So we have the product lineup. We have all the products. We can check that box. But on the other side of things, people are like they're laying off people at different places. Some people are furloughed. Like a lot of people are struggling right now. We're going into the holiday season where people automatically, no matter the state of the economy, need more money. We have a business opportunity that we can offer people minimum startup costs. There's no monthly requirements. So we can check that box. So it's really just finding those people that need a solution. It doesn't matter if it's the business or the products, we have a solution. You guys just have to ask the questions and dig into that connection to find out what your network needs.
Yes. Yep. And that comes through education, and sharing like what, you know, because if I were on the outside, like here's another thought, like when we weren't in this yet, it's like if someone like I had, for example, I had a guy who I did this pop-up with the 6 drinks at my in-laws liquor store. And this guy was there and he's like, I've never done any of this. I know nothing about it. He was probably 60. He's like, I'm in terrible pain. I have this, that, and the other. I've always wanted to use this, but I didn't even know where to start. And I was kind of nervous and I didn't know where to go, who to talk to, and all of that. And I talked to him and educated him. And so we have to remember that there are so many people sitting on the other side, and it's just a matter of us painting the picture, educating, sharing, and allowing ourselves to just learn and get better even at sharing, right? And not knowing all the things, but doing it anyway, just because we know people need this and people are looking for, I think we think sometimes like, well, they're not going to want to do this because they're already busy or they have this or that or whatever. And we make excuses or we prejudge people. But it's like, how many people do you know that would be able to benefit from an extra $250 to $500 a month? Like that's big right now for people with the price of groceries and everything. And um, so with that being said, I would like to challenge you guys or encourage you to like just write down like 5 names, or if that's what you want to do, like take action tonight, write down 5 names maybe, that you're going to reach out to. Maybe you're going to start tonight, maybe you're going to start tomorrow, or maybe it's a thought, like maybe something we said earlier has you thinking about an idea to share, to put a piece of yourself out there, to engage, to you know, bridge that gap of trust. Because with Ali, like Ali said, all the promotions and things that are going on. I mean, this is like such a good time and to set ourselves up for like really the best time in this business as far as maximizing your income, with everything that Green Compass is gonna roll out. So, um, all right, I think that's all we had. Anything else, Allie, you want to add?
No, I think that is pretty much, um, I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys for getting on. If you have questions or you want to brainstorm or you want us to get on a call with someone or you want to do a 3-way chat or you want to reverse engineer your goals or whatever it is, let us know and then we can kind of, we don't know what you guys are looking to do sometimes in your business unless we know. So we're always here to help you. And will you guys have a good night? All right. Good night.